Hi everyone, well it's Tuesday and today we have some absolutely gorgeous sunflowers for you. We've picked sunflowers for a really special reason. There's a school which we love called Newton Primary in Ayr, and they are collecting sunflowers for children to take back to their flats. So if you're in the Ayr area and you've got a little plant pot that's got a sunflower in it, a growing sunflower rather than a seed, take it on down to Newton Primary because they will make sure it goes to a home where it's going to be really loved. But for all the children out there, especially for you guys at Newton, let's go and do this sunflower. So we're going to do lots of petals today. So, but we do have a circle to start with. So a couple of circles on your warm-up paper. So just a scrap bit of paper, just a few circles there, just to loosen up, thinking about your pencil grip nice and light. And we're also going to be doing petals. Now, when you do your petals, we're not doing straight and triangle, we're doing flowing. So I want you to think about flowing petals and just fill your page with some petal shapes, nice loose strokes, not pressing hard, pressing nice and softly. We're going to start with a circle smack bang in the middle of the page, and we don't want to make it too big because we want to leave plenty of room for the beautiful petals. So you can see I'm just putting some little marks to guide my pencil, and then nice and loosely I'm just going to put in that circle. So lovely loose marks. And if you feel like you need to, just change. You can move the paper around slightly. And that's our start. So that's our first start, which is the centre of our sunflower. Then I want you to put a little point in up here and take out your first big petal. And we're going to do the same and mirror it exactly underneath. So the first big petal underneath like that. And exactly the same on this side. You can see a theme here. We've got another one there. And then let's take it here. I think that actually might be a little bit too wide, but I'm not going to worry about it. And we'll just have our last one there. So that's your start. A circle in the centre and 4 petals coming off. So now I want you to start by, in the centre, putting a very light dotted line. You'll see why, because when we come to the painting bit, we're going to put make it quite interesting in the middle. So that's the first bit, the dotted line. And then I want 2 petals in between here, kind of even. So you could put your little marks, put a little dot out there and then take it in. And I want to make sure that there's space on either side of these. So a little bit of space there. And then take that one out. And we don't need the petals to be exactly the same shape. In fact, it's better if they're not, so that it makes it more interesting. So as you come down here, rather than taking a petal straight out, I want you to go over that line here with that petal. And then we're going to leave a space because we're going to come back on the last one and fill them all in. Put your dot out where you want it to go. And then that petal there. Now with these 2, I want you to leave a space between both, and we're going to do 2 overlapping. 1, can you see how I've gone in there? And that is going to be that one there. So each time we're doing something slightly different just to make it more interesting. Here, if you start about there, and we're going to join it to there, like that. And again, we're going to do 1 joined up with a gap there. So if you pause that and then put in that series of petals. Right, we're going to finish it off now by filling in the petals. And the idea is not to have a uniformity, not to have it so it's all exactly the same. We're creating these different petals. So I want you to start off up here with the top one, and we're going to join that one like that. And we're going to join that like that. But you can see they're not the same. Now with this one, we're going to put 2 in. We're going to go like that and like that. And the same between here, we're going to do 2. starting kind of halfway and going there and going there, and the same between here, because we want loads of petals. Some flowers have absolutely stacks of petals. So we've got that there, we've got that coming around here. I'm going to take that in. So then we've got our two crossover ones, and we're going to put one here in the middle there, and then on either side of that we're going to do two. Then we've got our two joining ones here, and between that one and that one we're going to do another one, and we'll just do some little joiners in between there as well. So we're almost round now. So we'll do one here between those two, then we've got that coming up. We'll do one there, one, and I'm going to take all that one all the way down to the bottom. Then here I'm just going to finish off with one that's a little bit different coming out. And that is our finished sunflower. So if you've not got paints, don't worry, just use your pencils, use your felt tips or whatever you've got to colour it in. I'm going to use a very nice, very simple palette of paints, and you can get these at the Little Art School shop, and they come with the paper. The key is to have the right paper as well as the paints. I'm also going to do a little bit of wax resist in the centre. So I've just got, it's just a crayon. It's a crayon that's covered in plastic, but it's just a crayon, and that's all it is here. And what I'm going to do is I'm pressing quite hard because I really want these little spots to show up. And I'm going to go in the centre of a sunflower where you've got all the amazing sunflower seeds. I'm just going to go like that and put lots of these little dots in. There we go, so we've got all those little dots in. You see that? And then I'm going to mix a wash. And I want to make this wash. So if you can see, I'm coming over here. Just make sure that my brush is clean, doesn't look that clean. Here. And I'm going to take brown, some brown here. Now, if you've got watercolour pencils, you can just do this with the watercolour pencils as well, just colour it and change it. But I'm going to do, oh, I accidentally put a bit of red in there. I want to go quite dark here, so I'll just test it out. Yeah, that's quite a nice dark brown. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go right round the edge with the brown, until I get to the sort of centre. Can you see how it's pushing it away? The wax is pushing it away, and that's what I want. Now, it's a bit, we want it to be darker in the middle. So what I'm going to do is come into my black, I'm going to add black to my brown, even a bit more than that. Make it a very dark brown. Oh, I think I even want more than that. That's better. Really dark brown, can you see there? And I want it to kind of float into the brown, the lighter brown around it. I don't want it to be as we see? When that dries, the yellow will really start to come out. So I'm going to leave that all to dry just for a minute or two before I come on to the yellow. Right, well, this is dried now, and we're going to create a yellow wash for our sunflower. And I'm going to do this completely in yellow because I'm doing it for all my lovely Newton students. There's a lovely bright yellow sunshine. But my son Henry, who's 9, had a brilliant idea. He is going to do his later today, and he's going to do it in all the colours of the rainbow, and he's going to make an NHS sunflower. So that'll be very jolly, won't it? So you do yours however you want, but make sure you let me know. Now you can see how much. Can you see how much water I've put on there? This is the biggest wash I think I've made in the whole of the daily drawers, and there's a reason for this. Because when I was doing the practice, I actually ran out. I didn't make enough, so I don't want it too dark. You'll see on the finished picture that it is a bit it's quite orangey in the center, and that's because we're going to actually put on a second wash. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around carefully around each of these petals. Now you can do this much slower than me, and I'm going to do it in different stages. So sometimes the easiest way I find is to be really super careful around the edges like that, so that I can go very quickly in these bits here. I don't have to worry too much about the paint going everywhere. So I'm going super quiet, super careful. You can go much more careful than me. I just don't want it to be too slow for all of you who are watching. So I'm going to go right around the edges. And then because because of the paper, the way the paper is, that bit around the edge, it kind of acts as your stop, as your safety mechanism there. Can you see? It's just, it won't go beyond it. It's your force field. So I'm going right to the edges. Now you can see this is quite a light yellow, and if you wanted yours to be darker, that's fine. All you've got to do is add more paint. And what I'm doing as I do the brush strokes is, just watch, I'm not pressing really hard with my paintbrush. I'm barely touching the paper for those edges. Really going very, very, very lightly all the way. And then I'll go around the edge there, create my little force field. Now, if the brown was wet at this stage from the middle and I hadn't been super patient, which is not, I have to say, it's something that comes particularly easy to me or Elizabeth, we're both very impatient people. If I'd been impatient, then the brown would, you can see even though we were quite patient, it is still starting to come in a little bit. And if you do it when it's wet, it will make such a mess because it'll go right into it. And then I'm just going to take that down. Now, whilst that's still wet, what I want to do is around the edges, I've actually got so much paint there, I'm going to take a little bit off. I'm going to go into on my palette now, and I'm going to add some orange into this wash here. You see? And then I'm going to go and add a lot more yellow too. I'm really soaking that up on my brush to get this yellowy, beautiful yellowy orange. Let's see. And then here's the magic bit. I'm just going to drop it. You see? I'm going to drop it and I'm going to let it come around the centre there like that, and I'm going to take it up just slightly. I'm not really painting here, I'm just dropping the paint in so we get this impression of sunshine. Now if you wanted to do yours as a rainbow, I think watercolour pencils would work really well for that. But doing it like this, where we're just dropping the paint in, the palettes work really well as a wash. There we go. It's a bit dry around there, so it's not dropping, but look at the little effects, and I'm not controlling that. I'm just letting the paint go and control itself. And that is our sunflower. Hope you really enjoyed that sunshiny sunflower. We really enjoyed doing it. It's such a lovely, joyful flower. Make sure you send us your pictures. We would love to see them. Put them in the comments on Facebook, put them on our Twitter page, or in comments on Instagram. It's so great to see people sharing across all the different media. We really love seeing them. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We always try to pull something that's a little bit fun out the bag for Wednesday, and we have got some extremely jolly minions.